You have a system in your brain that you cannot turn off. It was built to keep babies alive, but it doesn't check whose baby it is. It doesn't even check the species. That's why you can't walk past a dog without your hand starting to move. Why you whisper to a cat that isn't yours. Why you'll be late to work because something small and soft appeared on the sidewalk. You think it's a choice. It was never a choice. Your body decided tens of thousands of years before you were born. Start with what everyone assumes. We pet animals because they're cute. You see something adorable, you want to touch it. Simple. But that explanation falls apart the moment you look closer. Because cute isn't a feeling, it's a trigger, and it pulls something far older than affection. In 1943, an Austrian scientist named Konrad Lorenz described a pattern he called baby schema, a specific set of physical features. Large head, big eyes set low on the face, round cheeks, small nose, soft, clumsy movement. Lorenz argued these features weren't random. They evolved in human infants for one purpose: to hijack the adult brain, to force protection, to make a tired, hungry adult look at a helpless, screaming creature and feel an overwhelming need to care for it. Evolution built a visual trigger and installed it directly into your nervous system. But here's what Lorenz noticed that changed everything. These same features show up in other species, and your brain does not run a species check. It sees big eyes and a round face, and it fires the caregiving circuit. It doesn't matter that the creature isn't human. It doesn't matter that you met it 11 seconds ago. The system activates anyway. You're not reacting to a dog. You're reacting to a shape your brain was built to protect. For decades, Lorenz only had observation. He watched people react and took notes. He had no way to see inside the brain. Then came fMRI machines. Scientists put people inside scanners and showed them photos of cute baby animals. And Lorenz turned out to be right. Looking at something cute isn't passive. It's a neurological event. Specific regions light up. The orbitofrontal cortex, reward processing centers, areas tied to motivation and emotional importance. Your brain treats a cute animal the way it treats things that genuinely matter. Things worth paying attention to. Things worth caring about. And all of that happens before you've touched anything. Because touch is a completely separate system layered on top. Here's what almost nobody knows about touch. It isn't one sense. It's a collection of systems running at once. Your skin is covered in different receptors. Some read pressure, some read vibration, some read temperature, some read texture. But there's one type that matters most here. Nerve fibers called C-tactile afferents. These fibers aren't tuned to firm pressure or sharp contact. They respond to one specific thing: slow, gentle stroking at a speed of roughly 1 to 10 centimeters per second. And when they fire, they don't just send a signal saying, "You're being touched." They send signals to the parts of your brain tied to emotion, bonding, and reward. These fibers exist for one reason: to make gentle touch feel meaningful. Now here's where everything connects. Running your hand slowly over soft fur activates these fibers almost perfectly. The texture, the warmth, the gentle give, the steady rhythm. It's as if fur was designed to interface with the exact sensory system that evolved for social bonding. When you pet a dog, you're firing a neurological pathway built to bond you to other living beings. And it's firing because of a Labrador. This isn't poetry, it's chemistry, specifically oxytocin. Oxytocin gets released during positive physical contact, when you hug someone you love, when you hold a child. And studies have shown that just a few minutes of petting a dog, making eye contact, being close, measurably raises oxytocin in your blood, a bonding hormone, spiking, from a few minutes of contact with an animal. And here's the part that should stop you. The oxytocin spikes in the dog too, at the same time. You and the animal are both experiencing the same neurochemical surge that bonds parents to children, that bonds partners to each other. You walked up to a stranger's dog and you both fell a little in love. That's not sentiment. That's biology doing exactly what it was built to do. But this raises a question almost nobody asks. Why soft things? Why fur specifically? Why don't we feel the urge to pet a brick wall or stroke gravel? The answer goes back to the very beginning of your life. As an infant, you spent enormous amounts of time pressed against warm, soft things. Skin, blankets, other bodies. And in that period, before language, before memory, your nervous system coded a permanent association. Soft equals safe. Soft equals close. Soft equals comfort. That code never leaves. It runs underneath your entire life in ways your conscious mind never notices. Then there's temperature. Warmth tells your body something specific, that something alive is here. Place your hand on something warm and slightly yielding, and your stress markers drop almost immediately. Heart rate slows. Cortisol falls. Not because you decided to relax, because your body recognized warmth and concluded, something living is near. We're safe. And if that animal is a cat, something even stranger is happening. A cat's purr sits between roughly 25 and 150 hertz, and frequencies in that exact range have been documented in clinical settings to promote bone healing, reduce inflammation, and speed up tissue recovery. There are physical therapy tools being developed that use vibration at these precise frequencies. So when a cat purrs on your chest, you're not just hearing a sound. You're being gently vibrated at a frequency that may actively help your body heal. Cats are accidentally therapeutic. They sit on your laptop, ignore you, judge your bookshelf, and emit frequencies that might be good for your bones. They're doing nothing for your benefit, and it works anyway. But none of this explains the strangest part: why the urge feels impossible to resist. Lots of things feel good, and you restrain yourself around them in public. Animals are different. You know you should ask before petting the dog. You know the cat gave you 2 clear warnings. You do it anyway. That's because of something called approach motivation. When your brain flags something as rewarding, and a cute, soft, warm animal fires nearly every reward signal you have, it creates a pull toward that thing that comes before conscious thought. You don't think, I want to pet that dog. The circuitry has already moved your hand. Your conscious mind is just catching up to a decision your body already made. The same system that pulls you toward food when you're starving is pulling you toward the animal. In the most literal sense, you are drawn to it. And this isn't even unique to us. Capuchin monkeys do it. Bonobos do it. Coco, the gorilla who learned sign language, kept pet cats. She requested them by name, handled them gently, and when one died, she signed what her researchers read as grief. A gorilla grieved a small house cat because touching it had meant something. The drive for this is not a human invention. It's ancient, and it runs through far more of the animal kingdom than we admit. But the deepest part isn't why we reach out. It's what happens when we can't. Touch deprivation is a real, measurable physiological stressor. During periods of forced isolation, people with pets consistently show better mental health, lower cortisol, lower rates of depression and anxiety. And researchers checked carefully whether it was just having company or the physical contact itself. The evidence points to the contact, the hand on fur, the warm weight against your leg, the actual feeling of touching something alive. In hospitals, animal-assisted therapy reduces pain, lowers anxiety before procedures, and improves recovery. Therapy dogs lower stress in children during high-pressure moments. And it's fast. 10 to 15 minutes of actually touching an animal produces measurable changes in cortisol and oxytocin. Your nervous system isn't slow about this. It knows exactly what it needs. So here's the real reframe. We treat the urge to pet animals like a quirk, a funny flaw. The reason you're late because a dog ambushed you on the sidewalk, but it's pointing at something much older. Touch is how mammals tell each other they're safe. It's how we regulate each other's nervous systems without a single word. It's how we say, I see you, I'm here, you're not alone. For almost all of human history, we lived pressed against animals. Animals we worked with, raised, slept beside for warmth and protection. The distance between humans and animals that we now call normal is brand new in evolutionary terms. And your nervous system never got the update. It's still expecting to be surrounded by warm, living things. So when you reach for that dog on the street, you're not being sentimental. You're answering a need your body has carried for 50,000 years, and that the modern world quietly stopped meeting. You were never going to walk past that dog, and now you know it was never weakness. It was the oldest kind of belonging there is, and the next video on screen reveals what your pet is feeling on the other side of that same touch.